Before we begin today's lecture, I'd just like for us to go over what we did the last time we were here. And if you remember correctly, we did a little bit of theme selection. We made the layer of our Microsoft to be dark. Yeah, we did font manipulation, case manipulation, bullet points, type setting. We did the spike function. We sorted lists. Mr. Kingsley, please, your mic is distracting me. Please turn off your mic. Turn off your mic.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's still on. I can still hear you.
Mic is still on.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. It's done now. Okay. So after spiking, we looked at sorting lists and how to access the clipboard. Now, very quickly, we'll just go over a few of them. So if you would quickly go to your Microsoft Word, I'm sure you should have it open by now. You should have yours open. I'm about to share my screen, and for those who need to catch up, you catch up very quickly. All right. Okay. So we're back on our Microsoft display screen, and we have the heading we did the last time. And if you look up at the top ribbon, you will see under paragraph where my mouse is, the type setting is set on center. And remember, we have shortcuts for all this. To align to the left is Control L, center is Control E, align to the right, Control R. And then this one, I was thinking someone will ask me about it. This last one here where my mouse is justify. Now, what justify does for you is that it centralizes your entire work to make sure that there is equal amount of space on the left and on the right, so that your work does not look lopsided. All right. Then if we look at still on that ribbon, you see where my cursor is now, you see font. And we talked about increasing font size with just a simple click, changing the case of whatever you highlight. So let me highlight MS Word, for example, and change my case. Now, I said sentence case would give you just the first letter of the entire sentence as capital. Lowercase will make everything to be small letters, as you can see. Uppercase will make everything capital, as it was before. Capitalize each word will give you capital letter of the first word or each of the words, rather, in the entire sentence. And then toggle case would reverse whatever selection is there. So let's say I do lowercase, for example. When I toggle it, it's going to become all capital because everything was in lowercase before. Whereas if I have uppercase and then I do toggle case, it's going to reverse everything to be in lowercase. So that's just all about that. Let me go back to uppercase. Then here we have font design. We didn't really touch this the other day, but if you look at the movement, with everything I highlight, my font design changes. This is very useful when you're making letterheads. If you're making a letterheaded paper, use font design to make your letterhead stand out. All right. And then right next to that, we have highlighting color. If you click on a highlight color, it's like using a highlighter on your notebook. It just gives you a color above this. So if you have a lot of text, for example, and you want to highlight a particular sentence, a particular line, or a particular paragraph, all you need to do is highlight it, come here, and then you click on whatever highlight color you want to use. In cases where you're collaborating on a work with others, you pick a particular color. Everybody would have a color that they use, and then you highlight whichever one you want to comment on or correct, and you use your chosen color So that's one way you can use this highlight color to collaborate with your colleagues on Microsoft Word. Now, the next option here is theme is text color, where I can easily just change my text color to whatever I want it to be. And that is how, if you remember, we got this tutor under to be in entire blue. So quickly, we're going to move to our schedule for today. Now, let's go ahead and type. I hope everybody's with me. All right, all right, all right. Okay. Let's go ahead and type MS Word class day 2. Okay. Now, what we are going to do today is very simple. We have, I'm going to write it down. So I'm just going to call it out first, then I'm going to type it out. As I'm typing it out, you just follow suit. So remember, you change your font size because you're not going to use the same font size used for a heading for the body of your work. So let's make this size 11. Okay. And then, oh, just hold on, give me a bit. All right. Size 11. Yeah. So we are going to replace words in our autocorrect library. We are going to see what advanced autocorrect is like. We are going to insert table of contents, and we are going to generate text. Now, the last on the list, generating text, is going to be used after we do our table of contents to modify the table of contents. Table of contents itself would help you to quickly insert a table of contents in your project work. I'm sure many of us have done projects in the past, and I'm not very sure how many of us were able to add in our table of contents with ease. Now, the essence of the lesson today is to show you how to do that very easily, very quickly, without having to give it to someone at a cyber cafe who would press some buttons and make it look as if he's one kind of wizard. All right. Then autocorrect library is just to show us the workings of autocorrect and how we can manipulate some of the things in there. Okay. So now, first of all, we'll type outline. Remember, I said we're going to type it out so that all of us can follow it together. Control B to make it normal because it was bulging before. Now, we are going to do the way we did it yesterday. We are going to use bullet points. So go to the top, click on bullets. Now, if you notice, the bullet that is showing in my own is the same as what we used yesterday. But let's assume I don't want to use that. I hit backspace. I come back to the bullet options, click the drop down, and select something else for today. All right. So moving on, outline, number 1, autocorrect library. Okay, number 2, table of contents. And then number 3, text generating. All right, or generating text, whichever suits you, generating text. Okay. Now, quickly, let's move into autocorrect library. So let's say I make an error in typing something. Let's say today is Thursday, and then I put maybe 2 Y's at the end of Thursday, or 3 Y's, let's say 3 Y's, and I hit space bar. Now, obviously, Microsoft is going to show me a red underline because I wrote Thursday with 3 Y's, and that is not the proper spelling of Thursday. So let's say I do this often for some reason. Every time I type the word Thursday, I always type 3 Y's at the back of it. and it's usually a stress having to go back to correct it to what it's supposed to be. The easy thing to do is click on File, which is at the top left of your screen there. Click on Options. A small window will pop up. And then you see after General and Display, you see Proofing. So when you click on Proofing, there are a couple of options there. As usual, it's not usually one function under one heading. So you click Autocorrect Options, just as I've done. And then you click on Autocorrect. Now, normally yours should be on Autocorrect, but mine was on Actions because I did something else in Actions. We'll get to that, but it should be on Autocorrect. And this is the way my screen looks, is how your screen should look. Now, let's click on, if you look down, you see a place that says Replace Text as you type. And then it has a space for Replace and With. So you're going to replace one thing with another thing. So in the space for Replace, click there and type in Thursday with 3 Y's, all right? And replace with capital T. Well, you can choose to leave it as small t because if you look up, there's capitalized first letter of sentences there. You should have been clicked already. So let's still leave it as Thursday, all right, with 1 Y. And then click on Add and click OK. Then OK again. And then come back here and type, all right? Okay, mine is still showing a red line because I used small letter t. Okay, so we would have to make that a capital T. I hope we are together because I'm not seeing your screens at the moment. Okay. Okay. And then make this capital T. And replace. Okay. Okay. And there you have it. Let me know if it changed on your side also.
Yes, yes.
All right. All right. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. All right. That just shows you how to replace text in your autocorrect library. Now, if we go back to that same info, yeah, so let's go to File again. Let's go to Options. Let's go to Proofing, Autocorrect Options. Now, you see there are 5 tabs there. If you click on the Actions tab, the Actions tab shows you a small checkbox there that says Enable additional actions in the right-click menu. Now, this is just asking you whether you want more options than is there on default Microsoft Word setting. So you click on that, you check that box, and then you click on the third item there. You check the box of measurement converter. Now, what measurement converter does for you is it quickly gives you the conversion of whatever measurement you type in. So let's say an example is I want to see what 200 kgs would be in pounds. So if I click on this, right click on 200 kg, remember you give a space before you write your unit of measurement, right? Right click on that, look almost all the way down, you will see additional actions. When you hover over additional actions, even before you click on it, you're going to see a conversion there. 200 kilograms is 440.92 pounds. All right. So that first one is if you want to convert it to pounds quickly, you hit on that. And if you just want to be sure of what it is, so even without going online or using a traditional converter device, you have an easy way of converting measurements here on Microsoft Word. All right. So moving on from that, That's basically that about the autocorrect library. It has other functions, but for the purpose of our class, we'll be focusing on just those two. Now, coming to table of contents, which is where I would have to slow down a bit. Now, table of contents helps you define your work in a very neat way. Just make sure that you can quickly navigate in your research work without having to scroll and scroll and scroll and looking for where this is this and this is that. All right, now traditionally, before it was discovered that you could do all the easy settings in table of contents for Microsoft Word, people used to do, for example, one, they will write ethics of this and then go down, maybe come here and then press 2. But that wouldn't give you a table of contents when you want to insert table of contents. All right, so let's undo that. Undo number 1 also. Now, what we are going to do, come to, okay, I think, oh, pardon me. I was actually supposed to share this document with you. I don't think I've done that. Okay, just give me a few minutes. Let me share this document with you so that you can edit as I'm editing also. All right. Okay, I just sent it to the group chat now. So everyone who's on the WhatsApp group chat, just download that document and let's work on that. I'll just give you a few minutes for those who will be transferring from their phones to their laptops and just, so I'll just give 5 minutes. In those 5 minutes, I would be open to answering questions. Okay. Someone says, my question is, where do you go when you want your page to be in a square box? George, I'm not sure I fully understand your question. Are you saying you want it to be in a square format, or you want an actual square box, a text box around it? Just let me know which of them you mean, and I would get to that. All right, so before we get the clarification from George, while I'm still giving you time to download and get ready for our editing process, I'll just go on a short break and play a video from our sponsors. Yeah, calm down. I know you want.
Well, also,
All right. I guess everyone should be done with their stuff. I'm still going to give 2 minutes for finishing of that, but I want to use this medium to appreciate our sponsors and once again thank our pioneer for this vision that has allowed all of us to be in this space. All right. If not for this foundation, I'm not sure how many of us would have access to free training such as this. So let's do well to show our appreciation when the class is over. I would also like to mention that the next class, which is Python programming, would kick off by 7 p.m. All right. So let me look at this now. Okay, an actual text box around the series. Okay. For the person who said they're not sure which WhatsApp group is on, it's on the MS Word or MS Office WhatsApp group chat. All right. You should have gotten that on your emails by now. And if you haven't, I'm going to set up a Google Docs link where you can copy the text from and paste in your Microsoft. All right. So now for the person who was asking for text box, yeah, if you go to, let me share my screen, hold on. All right, confirm you can see, please. Can you see my screen? All right, I'll just take that as a yes and carry on. If you go to the tabs at the top of your screen, when you see insert, click on insert. Towards the right, you would see text box. Clearly is in there, text box. That's where my mouse is. I'm hovering over that now, text box. When you click on text box, it shows you what type you want. Now, I'm sure you can see, when you said for CVs, I'm sure you're thinking about the ones or the Austin sidebar and the banded sidebar. Those ones will just easily help you format your CV, all right, or your resume. However you want to do that. We have different settings for the text box and different colors also, just for your own customization and will. All right. All right, you're welcome. Okay, I think that's about that for the questions. Is there anyone with their hands up? None. All right, so let's just carry on. Now, we want to enable our Microsoft Word system to quickly insert a table for us when we call on it to. How we do that is by assigning headings. Now, if you come back to your top tabs, click on Home. Home will bring you to the ribbon where you have your clipboard, font, paragraph, and styles. Now, styles is what we are going to be looking at. So if you go to styles, you see normal, no space, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, maybe heading 4, and title. I'm not sure of the default settings because I've modified my own a bit. Okay, so I have heading 1, 2, 3, 4, title, and subtitle. Now, you click on the first heading. I'm talking about in your Word document now. The thing you want to be your first heading, you click on that. You don't have to highlight it, just click on it and click heading 1. Now, for those of us who don't have the text that we are using, I'm going to show you how to generate text so that you can just follow us. All right. So everybody pay attention now. If you press equal to, all right, type rand standing for random, RAND, and then brackets open and close, and hit enter. Microsoft generates random text for you, usually just 3 paragraphs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 or 5 sentences each. All right. Now, you can either do that or you can do the lorem command. Now, lorem is short form for lorem ipsum, which is Latin text that's usually used for generative text in the text space. All right, you hit on equals to, type lorem, and then parentheses again, bracket open and close, and you press enter, and it gives you lorem generated text. Now, if you want to modify the amount of text you want, because you need a certain amount for this example we are doing, type equal to RAND, all right, open the bracket, and then let's say we want 4 paragraphs of about 6 sentences each. Okay, so 4,6, and then we close the bracket and hit enter. And here it has given us 4 paragraphs. This is 1 paragraph. This is 2, ending at sign. All right, this is 3, and this is 4. Okay, so what I would like you to do, so let me confirm how many paragraphs are in line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let's do that again, but let's do 6 for 6. Okay, so those who do not have the text that I sent on the group chat, just type equals to RAND, open the bracket, 6, 6, and then close the bracket and hit enter. All right. Now, what you're going to do with that text you just generated, at the beginning of the first paragraph, just go ahead and type ethics, ETHICS. After typing ethics, hit on enter, the way I've just done, so that the text goes to the next line. Okay, are we there? Then go to themes, press enter, and then click on, or type data privacy. Okay, and then hit enter again so that that one goes to the next line. And then at the next heading, now if you notice, at every paragraph we get to, there's a little arrow showing on the left hand of it. All right, that just helps you to know where your paragraph starts from. Hit enter, the next one, and the next one. Okay, now after the data privacy paragraph, the next paragraph should have algorithm. Okay, I'm giving you this so that you can work on the same thing as we are. The next heading of the next paragraph should be accountability. Okay. The next, for the next paragraph should be summary. Enter. And then the last is conclusion. And then you hit enter. All right. So you have the same headings as we have now. So for all those who are working with the random generated text, please make sure you have the same headings that we do. And let's move along. Okay. All right. Now, let's come to ethics. The ethics of artificial intelligence in everyday life. You click on that and click on heading 1 on the mouse. Okay. That changes the text to blue. Now come to data privacy, click on that and click heading 2. Now, the reason why one is heading 1 and the other is heading 2 is because the first is going to be the more like the title of the paper, and then heading 2 is going to be a subheading under the title of the paper. Okay, so we go to algorithmic bias and click on heading 2 because it's also a subheading. Come to ability, click on heading 2. Come to summary, click on heading 2. Same thing we'll do for conclusion, click on heading 2. All right, if you've done this, all your headings should be blue. The text should be blue for each and every one of them. Okay, now we don't want it to be blue because that just looks out of place and looks very strange. That's not what we want in our project. So let's go back to the top, click on the ethics of artificial intelligence or just ethics. And then right click on heading 1. All right, under the styles ribbon or on the styles ribbon, right click on heading 1 and then hit modify. Now a small pop-up window should be in front of you where you have a couple of options. So I'll just call the options you need to work with. Now, when you see formatting, you change the text. The type of text is usually Times New Roman. So we click on Times New Roman. We make the font size a little bigger. Let's make it 18 because it's the heading. So it should actually be outstanding. Now we make it bold. And then that blue line you see there with the drop down arrow is the font color. So click on that. You can click automatic to make it black or pick any other color you want. Now, if you notice in the small box that is below these things you're selecting, the changes you were making were being affected, but on your workspace, it's still how it is because you've not okayed it. So come down and click on OK, and you see that immediately it has changed. All right. Now, I scroll down. I check my text size. My text size is normally 12. Okay, that's fine. And under styles is under the normal heading, so I don't have an issue. Now I come to data privacy, which is under heading 2. I go to heading 2 in the styles ribbon and I right click. Then click on modify once more. Now heading 2 will not be as big as heading 1 because heading 1 was our main title, if you remember. And heading 2 is a subtopic in the title. So we'll change it once again to Times New Roman under the formatting option. And then we'll make the size size 14. We can work with 14. Then we make it bold because in as much as it's a subheading, it's still a heading. We make it bold and we change the color to black. Now, once you click on OK, it changes all the other ones. If you look down, it changes all the other ones that are under heading 2 because you have changed the heading 2 format. So everything under heading 2 follows suit. Okay. Now we come to our top tabs again and click on insert. We'll click on references, sorry. Insert will give you tables. All we need is table of contents, all right? So we click on references. Now, before you insert your table, you come to the space where you actually want the table to be. So I click on the space in between our course outline for the day and the heading for the day. So I click on that space and I click table of contents. Now, the first option there is automatic table. If you click on automatic table, you see what it brings out? It brings out the heading, brings out outline, it brings out the bullet points and everything that's below it. Okay? But I don't want the topic and outline to come out in our table. So I go back to home, come to outline, make it normal. MS Word, class D2, and leave it in normal. Okay. All right, there's something I actually wanted us to do initially. You can either do the heading 1, 2, 3, or you can make one to be a title header. If you look under styles too, you will still see where there's one for title. As I've hovered over it, it has changed my title to something else. So you can still use title for that and modify it. Let me just show you how it's done. Modify it as you will. Okay, bold. Okay. All right. And my title is there again. Okay. Update the entire table. Oof. Hidden. Okay. All right. Are we on the same page? I really hope we are together. Okay. Now, if you look at this, it has given us a very quick rundown of what the table of contents for this particular text would look like. Now, let's come into our table of contents. You can edit what is inside the table of contents. You can make this place to actually read table of contents. We can highlight the text table of contents and make it whatever color we want. We can make it black. We can change the font style. We can change the font size. We can make it bold. We can italicize. We can underline. We can practically do anything we want in table of contents. But what you do on the table of contents does not reflect in the work. So let me show you what I mean. I can remove the word privacy from here, data privacy, okay? And there's no change. If you look at my screen, my document still reads data privacy when you get to the subheading. Whereas in the table, it is showing only data. Even if I click on update table, which is just there, update entire table, you see, it gives me back what is in the work. So if I want to remove privacy, the word privacy from my table, I come back to my work, okay, and I highlight privacy, delete, okay. Then when I come back to my table, click in the table, at the top you see update table, you click update table, update entire table, and click on OK, and it goes to just data. So that way, whatever change you make in your work, you just know that when you're done, you can edit maybe 50 pages and then come back at the end of the day and just hit on update table, and everything you did would reflect. All right, I'm going to undo all of that so that I still have the word privacy written there. All right, are we together? Let me confirm. All right, I'd like your feedback. Are we together? Are we following? Was I going too fast? Is there anything I need to recap on before I move ahead?
We are together on my end.
Okay, I like that on your end. Okay,
Please, from my end, the table of contents, I can't see it.
you can't see my screen, or you can't see it on your own workspace.
I didn't follow you. I just heard insert, then table of contents. So I didn't follow you.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, let's go over that again then. What is this now? Okay, so I just highlighted my table and pressed backspace and it disappeared. On the other hand, I could do what is this now? References, table of contents, remove table of contents, and it will disappear automatically. So that's that. Okay. All right. So for the sake of the person who didn't get that, I said come to the space above the heading. Yeah, because that's what we want. We want the heading inside the work, or we want our table rather to be positioned under the Word class D2. Okay. Now in the space above the heading, your mouse should be there, your cursor should be blinking. Go to references at the top of the tabs, the top tabs on your screen. Go to references. On your left, you would see the option table of contents. Now you click on table of contents and click on automatic table 1. Now, if you have done all the style settings, you will not need to do what I'm about to say again. But if you want, you come to, if you haven't actually, the table will not be created because your styles will be empty. Okay, so how to get your styles to not be empty? You click on, if you see what I'm doing now, you click on ethics and then put it under the title, styles, data privacy, heading 2, algorithmic bias, heading 2, and you do that for all of the subheadings. Now, I said to edit these headings, you come to them and right click and click on modify. Okay, when you've clicked on modify, you change the font style, the font size, and then bolding it, change the color. It's normally on blue, you change it to automatic, and then click OK. Once you click OK, it will reflect. Once you've reflected that, you go and click references, insert table, and then the table would come out with everything showing with their page numbers by the side. All right? Did you get that? Okay, assume you did. Okay, so quickly, to modify a table of contents, when you click on references, click on table of contents, after automatic table 1 and automatic table 2, there's manual table and there's custom table of contents. If you go to custom table of contents, you see where you can show page numbers. If you click on this, if you look at my screen, page numbers just disappeared. You have only the headings there. You click on it again, it comes back. You can choose whether you want the numbers to be aligned on the right or they should be beside the things you typed. Your tab leader, that is the indication of space. Now in our own, it's showing as dots, but I can change it to dashes, to short dashes. I can also change it to just slightly broken lines. Okay, so let's just work with the easier one to see, which are the dots, and then you can choose how many of the headings you want. So if we were doing subheadings under subheadings, yeah, you can choose how many levels you want to show. So let's say we have levels showing now up to 3. Let's reduce it to 2 and click on OK. And when it asks you replace table of contents, just click yes. Okay, so now what I mean about the steps that will show 2 or 3. If you come under data privacy, let's hit, or no, let's come into the paragraph here, and then give a space and tab. All right, let's say data privacy 2. All right, and highlight it, and then put it under heading 3. When you come here, it should update to all right. Now, to further modify your table, if you come to styles, and then you see that other heading we brought up before, that chat bubble we brought up before. If you click on format, all right, and click on paragraph, you'd see where you can change the indentations. You can make the indentations towards the left, towards the right. Let's say you want your table to have more space on your left than on the right. You can just modify the indentations. You have spacing before, spacing after, indentation, line spacing, and all of that. And as you do that, you're going to be seeing the changes affected before you finally press OK or cancel. I'm going to do cancel because I don't actually want to do any of that. We have a straightforward table in front of us for a very straightforward text. Okay, so if we were to further complicate the table, we would now need a more complex modification. But for the purpose of this class, we have just seen how to use styles to generate a table of contents. And always remember, you do not keep the text in the body of the paragraph or the essay at the same size as the headings. There has to be a difference to make your work really presentable, to make your work, appealing to the eyes for aesthetic brilliance. When people see your work, they're actually interested in reading because of the little changes and those clean modifications and definitions that they see on your work. All right. Now, one last thing I'd like to show us, we talked about changing the theme from white to a dark theme or a colorful theme, but there's something we could do in case the brightness for some reason is still, too much. You've been staring at the screen all day. You can always go to view. Excuse me. All right. If you go to view, you see zoom on a page size. You can reduce the size of the page, reduce the general outlook of things to, reduce the fact that you have to be stressing or squinting your eyes. And then if you go to design and look to your far right, you will see an option page color. Our page color allows you to freely modify the page color of your Microsoft Word to whatever you want it to be. So I currently have a blue screen, or a blue page rather, and you can freely move that however you want. Now, I personally like the black one, which, automatically changes the contrast. And if you notice, my text became white automatically. But that doesn't mean that if I want to print, it's going to look like this. Okay, this is just a smart feature added for us to freely maneuver. What would actually happen is if I press Control P, and I should see a print review, or print preview rather, my page is still white and the text is still black. It just shows you that so that you can, finish your work, manipulate all you're doing, and at the end of the day, you print in your normal printing pattern, printing style. Okay, and with that, I think we can safely say we have come to the end of the class for today. All right, before we close, I'll give room for questions again. Oh, can I call? Sorry, with the last part, what last part are you talking about? You said I should recap. I'm not sure what you want me to recap on. Can you put on your mic and just let me know? Mr. Ugochukwu, are you there? Okay, I think he has left us. All right. So in the absence of any questions, I would like to say thank you everyone for participating in the Microsoft Word classes. By tomorrow, we will start.
I just have a question to the text, to the chat box. Rather. I'm not on the group. I wanted to know how I would join. Sorry for interrupting.
Okay, how to join the WhatsApp group? Are you on the general group chat, the general group 2, or
No,
general group 1? Either.
I'm not on any of the groups. Someone just sent me a link this morning. This link this morning. Yeah.
Okay, you would have to register for the calls.
Okay.
The person that sent you the link here should forward we open the portal again for registration. So they should forward the registration links to you. All the links are available on all the group chats. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we would also one of my technical guys would paste it in the chat box now.
All right.
Okay, so that you can just see and then register, and we carry on from there. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, so quickly let me just do that.
Hello.
Yes, hello, I can hear you.
Sorry, just a few minutes before the program started, I was able to register via a link sent to me by someone
Okay.
later this afternoon.
Okay.
And then I heard you mention group WhatsApp and all that. So I don't think I've been connected to that. Though she told me to register and then I will get a message on my
Your
email,
email.
but I
Yes.
wasn't able to receive a message before this program started. I said, let me just join. So that was even why when you were talking about believe you're your own I believe you were expecting everyone participating to probably have his or own system to be working with you directly. So and
Okay.
I discovered it's as if I was floating, but just that for one or two little experiences I've had, I have on this particular program, that's why I was able to follow up some of the things you were saying. But I
Okay.
wasn't on my space because I didn't probably know that I was supposed to have a system directly.
Okay. Okay, that's all right. So just for anyone who wasn't really clear on that, also you should have your systems on standby. For anyone you share the link to, do well to give them the proper information about
Okay.
the whole thing, tell them to register while the portal is still open, and to make sure they have a system, at hand, so they can follow on with the lessons.
It's
All right.
it's all right.
Okay.
Then concerning the WhatsApp, are you going to add us or?
Okay. So for the WhatsApp, when you finish registering, there should be a link to the general group. Yeah. When you join the general group, that's just confirmation that you finished your registration. An email will then be sent to you because of your registration. It's a Google document you're registering on, and when you finish, we are going to have it on our own Excel sheet. So when we close the portal and we are sure that we have everybody registered, we will then send emails to those who have just registered in this second batch, so that you can join the appropriate group for your classes.
Okay, it's okay.
All right.
It's all
All
right.
right.
Yeah, but that'll be awesome.
All right. Thank you. Okay. For everyone else who followed, thank you for attending. Just want to say thank you once again to our sponsors and our pioneer. Without them, this would not be possible. So as much as you can, show your appreciation to them on the group chats, on the Zoom, on the Google Meet, on your social media handles. Just hashtag BOF, hashtag Body Love BJ Foundation, as much as you can. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Have a good night.
Excuse me, you said the Python class will start by 10 p.m. today.
No, I said Python starts by 7. They are actually setting it up now. I think they are okay. They started. Yeah, they started.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. All right. For those who are not also clear, if you have the link to any of the classes, because each class every day has a link, if you have the links, you can join. Feel free to join and learn as much as you can. It's just that only those who register for the courses would have certificates. So, do with that information what you will. Once again, thank you all and God bless you. Good night.